We'll explore the hottest topics currently stirring public debate, the questionable infrastructure projects in Las Piñas, and the abrupt change of leadership in PNP. Good morning. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno, and this is At the Forefront. Las Piñas Congressman Mark Santos is raising his arm over 42 questionable DPWH projects in his city. Not only did these projects proceed without securing city permits, billions of pesos were spent on flood control projects that were awarded to a group of limited contractors. Noting that Las Piñas continues to get flooded, will the infrastructure woes of Las Piñas reach the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee investigating the flood control anomalies? With us this morning is Las Piñas Representative Congressman Mark Santos. Good morning, Congressman Mark.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. It's good to be back here.
Yes, and it's always a pleasure to have you back here.
Thank you.
So let's start with DPWH projects. Paano nyo na-discover na meron palang 42 DPWH projects na walang kinuhang permit sa city nyo, sa LGU?
Yes, Attorney Karen, siguro alam nyo naman na I used to be a local official before. City councilor, 7th term tayong councilor. So, naobserbahan ko na yan before. So, after winning the last congressional race, yan ang una-una kong talagang pinagtuunan ng pansin, Attorney Karen. Kaya nga, doon sa mga press release na kino-cover ngayon, naging viral yata yung parang advocacy ko na kailangan ng consultation sa local government. Ang lahat ng national government agencies or national government projects, including the approved General Appropriations Act. And no other than the President himself, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., instructed DPWH, I think he's on an ocular inspection sa Tuba, Benguet, when sinabi niya, magiging policy na, reinstitute the policy of government consultation with the local government. So it includes the building permits and lahat ng klase ng permit and consultation, zoning clearance, barangay clearance, plumbing, electrical permits. So dapat may konsultasyon sa tao. Yun ang bottom line dito.
Minention mo, Congressman Mark, napansin mo na yan dati pa, nung nasa City Council ka pa lang. At that time, ano po yung ginawa ninyo nung napapansin mo nang may mga projects na walang permits?
During my last term as a city councilor, I was one of the author of the ordinance kasi nung kino-question ko nga yung mga projects dun sa Las Piñas, talagang nag-formulate kami ng ordinance ang City Council through the leadership of Vice Mayor April Aguilar, then Vice Mayor April Aguilar. Nagpasa kami ng ordinansa na talagang kailangan na kumuha na ng mga permits ang national government agencies na may mga programs sa Las Piñas City. And I think, Attorney Karen, hindi lang naman sa Las Piñas ito, prevalent ito. Ngayon, lahat nagre-reklamo na, including the highly urbanized cities.
Quezon City as well.
Quezon City, yeah. Manila, oo. So, naging viral na tong issue na to. Kaya,
pero bakit nga po hindi sila kumukuha ng permit? Is there a benefit to them pagka hindi kumukuha ng permit? Dahil ba sa pagtipid? Or ano pong reason?
Alam mo, ngayon I realize na it's because na they believe na batas na yung General Appropriations Act. Akala nila, exempted na sila siguro to get permits sa local government. Isa lang yon. Number two, may question na ngayon dyan sa taxes. Kasi ang mga contractors, ngayon, I think, no less than the BIR Commissioner, i-require na sila ng mga tax clearances ngayon, ang mga contractors. So, dapat nung araw pa siguro, but I'm not sure about the BIR thing. Yeah. And number three, tingin ko, alam naman natin, ang reality check tayo. Siyempre, pag hindi magkasundo yung mayor at congressman, it's either hindi...
Baka maharangan din yung project.
O hindi matuloy ang projects, or no projects at all.
But, Congressman Mark, that is a good point then. Kung merong away yung mayor at congressman, baka naman detrimental sa publiko in terms of finishing projects on time. Kasi baka bagalan yung pagbigay ng permits or ipitin. What would be your safeguard para hindi naman po ma-delay ang mga infrastructure projects?
Ako, I believe in transparency, good governance, and accountability. So ako ipupush ko yung Freedom of Information Bill sa Congress para malaman ng tao and para magkaroon din ng safeguard. Kasi magiging issue yan pagdating ng election eh. At ako, for example, bilang congressman, kung hindi ko kasundo yung mayor ko, meron naman mga social media, meron naman tayong mga newspapers na kailangan i-publish natin na talagang meron mga projects tayong pinupush doon. Pag nakita naman ng mga tao yon na kinokontra ng mayor, mag-iisip sila. So, isa yon. And then, buti na lang ngayon, yung mayor, kami ni mayor, magkasama kami, nagtutulungan kami. And first of all, I would like to thank her. Kasi when I wrote the city engineer, he immediately instructed them to conduct inspection and also instructed them to give them notice of violation. And pinatigil talaga ni Mayor April ang mga construction ngayon ng walang permits na projects.
Okay. Hindi naman kayo concerned na mababagalan yung pag-deliver at pagtapos ng mga projects?
Concerned, pero priority natin yung safety eh. Kasi pag gumawa ka ng isang building without permits, you're putting safety at risk. Oo. Number one, pag may nangyaring aksidente dyan or may nangyaring mga sakuna dyan, ang liable dyan is the city government, specifically the building official. Tayo nga, Karen, Attorney Karen, pag kumukuha at nagpapagawa tayo ng bahay, mga ordinaryong tao.
Magkabit ka lang ng generator, you need building permit.
Fencing permit, di ba?
Yeah.
Oo. So, dapat ang government maging example talaga doon sa mga bagay na yan. Hindi ako natatakot na mabagalan yung project kasi hindi naman kasalanan natin yon. It's just tinatama lang natin yung mga pagkukulang at pagkakamali.
Sa dati.
Sa dati,
Nabanggit nyo rin po na 2 o 3 contractors lang ang nakakakuha ng mga DPWH projects sa inyong city, sa Las Piñas. Sino-sino po yung mga contractors na ito?
Actually, I requested the regional director of DPWH. Tinitingnan ko pa yung mga contractors na yan. May mga contractors doon na talagang isasama ko doon sa Infracom committee sa Congress na imbestigahan. Kasi just like the other list na binigay ni Presidente, specifically sa Las Piñas, halos sila yung nakaka-corner ng mga contracts
So,
talaga doon.
ibig sabihin po yung list ng 15 contractors for flood control, yun din yung na-observe mo, yung mga ibang contractors doon, ang nakakakuha ng karamihan ng infrastructure projects sa Las Piñas, hindi lang flood control.
Hindi lang flood control. Kasi I think 3 or 4 days ago lang sinubmit nila yung list sa akin. And my staff, my office is reviewing those lists. And obvious naman, Attorney Karen, pag nakikita mo yung mga billboards doon ng DPWH, nandun naman parating, sila na naman yung
Is there a name that stands out for you?
Kasi may mga pangalan naman doon. But I just wanted to make it sure para hindi naman ako maging unfair sa kanila na dapat talaga imbestigahan.
Aralin mo muna.
Yes, right. That's right.
Anong klaseng projects po yung mga karamihan sa Las Piñas?
Ang pinakamalaking project doon, initiatives ng mga previous, yung mga predecessors ko. Of course, yung River Drive na wherein kinuha nila yung 6-meter easement ng river, gumawa sila ng kalsada. Papunta doon lahat sa mga negosyo nila.
Sa negosyo nila. So are you referring to
the Villares? The Villares. Sila.
But if I remember correctly, back in 2010, Senator Ping Lacson already gave a privilege speech relating naman sa C5. Na pumupunta naman dun sa yung alignment favorable dun sa mga subdivision projects ng mga Villar. So, are you saying na this time it's happening again in Las Piñas?
Definitely, it's happening. That's why I requested Secretary Manuel Bunoan to stop the implementation of the 450 million projects pa na nilipat from the district to the regional office after nanalo ako ng eleksyon. So, very questionable yon. Kaya nga, naka-hold ngayon yung mga projects na yon. And isa doon sa pinakamalaking pondo doon sa projects na yun, Attorney Karen, is the 140 140 million, phase 4. Phase 4 na ito. Kalsada na naman doon sa C5. Parallel doon sa questionable C5 projects. So ito,
So you're saying questionable because of the alignment. Meron na namang
yes.
parang papunta sa mga development nila.
It's not only the alignment, it's the owner of the property. So obvious yun na it's a joint venture agreement na naman ng Villar-owned corporations kung saan gumawa na naman ng kalsada. Itong phase 4, siguro phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, Attorney Karen, kulang-kulang mga 300 million na. So additional 140 million pa. So sabi ko, siguro dapat ilagay naman natin dun sa mga tamang programa. Ano yon? Kailangan talaga yung i-clear natin yung mga waterways sa Las Piñas na nag-cause ng malaking baha. Alam mo, in disguise of solving the traffic situation sa Las Piñas, alam mo, nilagyan nila ng kalsada yung river. Lumiit yung river talaga.
Kaya nag-cause pa ng baha.
Yes.
Wala po bang dapat nakuhain to ng clearance muna sa DNR, sa Department of Environment? Kasi pagka na-affect ng river, I think this is something that requires the clearance from the DNR as well.
Alam mo, dapat talaga. Pero imagine that, sa local government nga, wala silang kinuhang permit doon nung ginawa nila yon. So lahat yan kasama sa investigation sa Infracom sa Congress. Isasama natin yan. And ang isa pang problema ngayon, yung na-delay na LRT1 extension project, wherein dapat 6 years ago, tapos na rin yun. Doon din sa C5 yung magiging station nun. And nag-file din ako ng resolution to investigate that. Kasi yun talagang solusyon, isa sa mga solusyon sa traffic problem.
Mass transit.
Mass transportation talaga tayo. And walang makapagsabi ngayon, kahit yung mga previous administrations, kung bakit nadidelay.
Bakit nga po ba na-delay?
Na-delay? Nagpagawa sila ng flyover ngayon doon sa C5. Nasira yung alignment ngayon nung LRT1 extension. So imagine that, the government or us, the taxpayer, will spend another 1 to 1.5 billion pesos for the realignment and the redesign of that LRT. Kasi sovereign guarantee yun, Attorney Karen. Hindi naman yung concessionaire ang magbabayad nun. So, ang very practical nga ngayon, Attorney, mas murang gibain mo pa yung flyover kaysa i-realign and redesign mo yung LRT para gumawa ng bagong station.
Kanino po bang initiative yung flyover?
I think it was during the term of Secretary Mark Villar na gumawa ng flyover doon sa C5.
And it leads to Las Piñas.
Yeah. Bali, yung alignment, yung C5 mismo, gumawa sila doon sa ng flyover doon sa to cross the Diego Serra Avenue and C5 extension. Pero konti lang naman ang gumagamit nun sa totoo lang kasi hindi naman open pa yung Cavitex going to Las Piñas. Yung palabas lang ang nakakaano doon. Konting-konti lang halos ang gumagamit. Because ang gagamit lang halos nun, kung mabuksan yon, ay yung mga residents lang doon sa area.
Yung 2.5 billion pesos Las Piñas Zapote River Drive Project, ito po yung sinasabi nyo na lumiit yung river. Natapos ito noong 2002, pero hindi pa rin daw po nasolusyonan yung 2022, natapos. Pero hindi pa rin po ba nasolusyonan yung baha after nagawa itong project na to?
Actually, lalong lumala ang baha. Why? Because yung absorptive capacity ng river, 6 meters maglagay ka sa river ng structure. And number one, Attorney Karen, dapat ang DPWH nga nagki-clear ng mga rivers para lumuwang yung mouth ng river. Pero ito iba, ang DPWH ang gumawa ng structure sa river which is a violation of the Water Code of the Philippines, yung Presidential Decree 1067, wherein na bawal kang maglagay ng structure. Pwede ka lang maglagay ng structure sa rivers for dredging and desilting ng river. Pero gumawa ka ng kalsada doon sa river, questionable. That's why when DPWH consulted me, when I assumed the position as a congressman, in fact, itong sa National Expenditure Program, nireiterate ko yan na tama na yung mga structure sa rivers. Alam mo, nag-umpisa sa 2.2 billion, 2.5 billion.
2.5 billion, yes.
That was 2022 report pa. And I think 4 to 6 billion na nga siguro.
Yung
ngayon.
nagastos po
Nagastos
dito,
na ngayon.
pagka
Kasi,
tinignan niyo.
yung
Kung
18
na-complete po siya noong 2022, hindi po ba si Senator Mark Villar ang
Yes,
DPWH Secretary at that time?
Right, right. Oo. Eh, nag-extend pa sila. Yung 18 kilometers or naging 30 kilometers na kasi pati yung mga creeks, nilagyan nila ng kalsada.
Oo.
Wherein itong recent heavy downpour sa Las Piñas, eh talagang yung mga areas na hindi na binabaha, binaha na ngayon. Why? Because yung mga creeks, lagyan mo ng kalsada, yung mga waterways, at gagawa ka rin ng box culvert na maliliit sa ilalim. Alam mo, naipon yung mga garbage doon. Wherein bumigay yung mga walls ng mga subdivision, pumasok yung tubig.
Bumigay yung walls.
Bumigay.
Grabe naman.
I think that was more than a year ago, yung Citadela, specifically
Yeah.
Citadela subdivision. So, nag-create ng talagang malaking problema sa Las Piñas. So,
But Congressman Mark, are you concerned that ngayon you're opening up investigations on these projects, pati yung mga anomalies related to them, and some of them relate to the term of Secretary Mark Villar nung nasa DPWH pa siya. But now, he's a senator in the Blue Ribbon Committee. So, palagay mo ba, may pag-asa matignan to ng maayos kahit na nandun siya sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee?
of course, Attorney Karen, meron din namang congressional inquiry sa House of Representatives. And tatlong committee yan, yung Infracom committee nga, that will take up the flood control projects controversies. Sa Senate, meron din naman sila sa Blue Ribbon. By the way, Senator Villar is the chairman of the Public Works Committee
In
now.
Senate,
Oo,
yeah.
oo,
Oo.
oo.
So, do you foresee any problems in terms of having an objective investigation with the issues that you're raising?
Ako naman, I have no personal issues against the Villar family. Ako, I'm just being factual, siguro. Accountability, transparency, siguro yun lang naman eh. Ako, I'm not doing this for politics. Ito, advocacy ko lang para itama yung mga mali.
At mawalan ng baha sa Las Piñas.
Yes, so-
Yeah. I've experienced flooding there po. Dumadaan ako sa may Danghari papunta sa palabas ng Alabang yon. Binaha po kami, naabutan kami isang time na malakas ang ulan.
By the way, yung Daanghari, may problema rin yun kasi hanggang ngayon, hindi pa ma-convert to a national road yun. O kasi merong pumipigil doon na yung property nila, hindi pa nila dinodonate sa DPWH hanggang ngayon. So hindi, in fact, last July, I got a letter from the police chief na may aksidenteng nangyari doon kasi hindi na ma-maintain eh. Ang hirap eh.
Because it's not a public road.
Oo, ginawa ng DPWH yan. So, dapat lang na magkaroon ng deed of donation ng mga properties dyan. So, anyway, I coordinated with the Secretary Bunoan regarding that. So, they promised me na with the help of the local government, maayos yan.
Nanawagan din po kayo kay Pangulong Marcos na mag-inspect ng mga flood control projects sa Las Piñas. Wala po ba kayong tiwala sa DPWH? Bakit po si President BBM ang pinanawagan nyo?
Number one, ako nga yung nag-request na ilipat na yung district engineer. So, of course, ngayon talagang si Presidente proactive na siya sa mga issues ngayon tungkol sa problema. Gusto ko makita niya talaga, personally, ang problema. At ako, papaliwanag ko sa kanya kung ano ang nangyari sa flood control program sa Las Piñas. Alam mo, Atty. Karen, now I found out, meron nga kaming pumping station pala doon sa isang waterways doon. And now they'll put a 150 million. Sabi ko, meron palang pumping station dito, ba't hindi ginagamit? So hindi na ako masagot doon.
Bakit nga po hindi ginagamit? Sira ba? Or is there any issue?
Ang nangyari nga, sa sobrang tagal na hindi ginamit, nasira na siya, ninakaw pa yung mga parts. Sabi ko, ba't pa tayo mag-i-invest dyan kung hindi naman talaga magagamit? But sabi nila, kaya naman daw i-operate ulit. So ako tingin ko, bigyan naman natin ng chance din kasi yun ang kailangan natin. A floodgate and a pumping station siguro after dredging and desilting the mouth of Zapote and Las Piñas River.
Yeah. Well, you were in the LGU for 7 years. Bakit hindi niyo po alam na may pumping station ang Las Piñas?
Number one, hindi nga kumukuha ng permits pag gumagawa sila
At
So,
hindi niyo alam yung
hindi.
location, walang may aware.
Wala.
Kahit mayor, hindi
Wala,
alam.
hindi alam, Atty.
So
Karen.
weird. So,
Hindi lang sa Las Piñas. Imagine ang Quezon City. Si Mayor Joy, may pumping station sa gitna na hindi niya rin alam Di ba?
walang nakakaalam.
walang
So wala
nakakaalam.
bang nag-ribbon cutting or nag-launching ceremony?
Attorney, hindi inoperate. Nagtataka nga ako. So there must be something wrong kung nung ginawa yan. And I hope na mapasama din sa investigation yan. Kasi sayang resources ng government ang resources tayo yun Di ba?
Tayo, sayang pera
Nagbabayad.
namin, nagbabayad kaming taxes.
Yes,
Tayo,
oo.
nagbabayad tayong
Oo,
taxes. But sayang naman.
Oo, talagang sayang. Oo.
At you keep mentioning yung district engineer po ng Las Piñas. Ang district engineer is si Isabelo Baleros na rin-assign sa Manila 3rd District matapos kayong magsakumpa ng reklamo. Bakit ba meron kayong reklamo against the district engineer?
A while ago, minention ko naman yung bakit niya tin-transfer. Nirecommend yung transfer ng 450 million pesos from the district office to the regional office. So there's something wrong about it. Number one, hindi niya kinonsult yung local government. So walang mga consultations yan. So dapat talaga, like what the President is instructing now, DPWH, kailangan ng consultation. Kasi ang maapektuhan, hindi naman yung DPWH, yung mga kababayan natin. And of course, questionable doon yung 140 million na naman kalsada gagawin na naman sa C5.
Is it, do you think, politically driven? Because kung na-transfer from the district to the regional office, I worked in DPWH also before.
Yeah.
Alam ko na pag gano'n, ay ipapa-implement nila dun sa regional director o sa regional office. So that takes it out of your jurisdiction sa
Yes.
district. Is that the intention para wala kang ma-implement na project? Or
Wala naman
para
akong-
hindi mo para wala kang kahit papano oversight or anything as a legislator?
In the first place, Atty. Karen, hindi ko pa nga alam kung ito ay included sa GAA or sa General Appropriations Act or ito ay isang insertion ng isang legislator. Kasi, in fact, even in the Blue Ribbon Committee, pinapalabas na nila yung mga insertions, di ba, doon sa Senate. So, I have no idea yet. Pero, tingin ko, wala namang iba. Kasi nung nanalo ko, bigla na lang nilipat from district to the region.
So you're saying walang ibang reason?
Wala akong nakikita kasi pwede namang implement ng district ng district.
Ng district office,
ng district office. So, capable naman sila And I think, ang information ko, wala pang nangyaring ganung nilipat from district to the regional office, yung mga predecessors ko. So bakit nung nanalo ako, nilipat nila? So that's why, during the Public Accounts Committee hearing, tinanong ko yon. Sabi ko, bakit nyo nilipat? Hindi nila masagot So, naka-hold ngayon yung sa region yung funds and I wrote DBM. So, hindi nila magalaw ngayon yung pondo. So, malamang, ibabalik nila sa district. And then doon sa district, magkakaroon na ng consultations with the local government.
Sino pong pinalit nyo doon sa district ng Las Piñas?
Actually, wala akong pinalit. Nireshuffle na lang. Si secretary na lang ang naglagay from another district dito sa Metro Manila. Nilagay na lang doon. Hindi ko kilala yung pumalit, actually.
Hindi niyo po kilala.
At hindi ako ang nag-recommend sa kanya.
Okay. Kasi meron kami nakuha pangalan, Michael Aguilar. And inapaisip naman kami kung related ba itong si Michael kay Mayor Aguilar.
Sorry, Attorney Karen, but Michael Aguilar is the OIC City Engineer ng Las Piñas.
So hindi pala. Okay. So,
ang
hindi siya
nilipat nila
ano.
si District Engineer, I think, Ruel Umali.
Okay.
Nakausap ko na siya with the regional director. So
at least mukhang ito na solusyon na naman. Meron silang bagong district engineer na hopefully, will not cause any issues na politically driven.
nagdadasal ako, Attorney Karen, sana. Kasi, alam mo, I was surprised. Pumutok na nga itong issue about the flood control projects. Meron pa rin, di ba, allegedly na district engineer na, imagine mo, i-bribe mo ang isang congressman.
Yes, yun nangyari po kay Congressman De Viste.
So, nakita mo yung impunity. Grabe, no? So, ang hirap ng papel ng ginagawa ng presidente ngayon. Imagine that. May order ka na ayusin lahat.
Yeah.
And then ito, I think malaking pera ang involved talaga dyan sa mga projects na yan. And I think we have to correct that. Wala na tayong pag-asa pag pinagpatuloy pa natin yan.
It sounds like meron ding sasagawang investigations po at the level of Congress. Meron ding TRICOM committee.
Yes.
Ano yung mga isasagawang investigations sa Congress na naiiba dun sa ginagawa ngayon ng Senate po?
Of course, yung magiging investigation was based on the list na sinabit ni Presidente. And we're going to invite them also dun sa mga committees. And then, sabihin nila kung ano yung totoong nangyari dun sa mga projects. And at the same time, nandun din naman, allegedly daw, may mga members of Congress. So kung gusto nilang magsalita doon, then everybody's free, di ba? Na magbigay ng mga opinions nila doon and to defend themselves.
Sa palagay niyo po ba, hindi mahihirapang mag-investigate ang Congress kung merong mga kasangkot na members of Congress with the other contractors?
Personally, Attorney Karen, sa totoo lang, ang national government, the executive department, they have all the institutions. They have the National Prosecution Service from the DOJ. We have the Ombudsman, the Commission on Audit, the NBI. Kagaya niyan, may nag-bribe sa congressman, kasuhan natin agad, di ba? Itong ginagawang investigation ng both houses of Congress, okay naman ito. I think baka nakakalimutan natin, in aid of legislation lahat to.
Yes, yeah.
So kasi ang inaano natin is nagiging politika lang ito. Pero sa totoo, ang bottom line ito is in aid of legislation. At hindi naman kasi mawawala yung political side din ito. Pero I do believe, as a neophyte congressman, may pupuntahan tong investigation na to.
May mga nakikita ka ba among your colleagues in Congress na merong credibility to carry out this investigation?
Definitely, meron tayo. With Majority Floor Leader Sandro Marcos at the helm dun sa floor ng Congress, optimistic ako na maayos to. And kasi yung transparency na ginagawa ngayon sa budget deliberations, Attorney Karen, wherein pati mga CSO nandun na. And they abolished
yung mga civil society organizations nandun.
And very active yung minority group with Senator Leila, the Akbayan group.
That's
minority.
Good. But with Sandro Marcos, the majority leader, he's related to Speaker Martin Romualdez, who was one of the people that was being pointed to or entangled dun sa naging controversy in the 2025 budget. They keep mentioning Speaker Martin and Congressman Zaldico as the chairman of the Appropriations Committee because sila yung mga last touch dun sa BICAM report. Palagay mo ba hindi conflict of interest din yun where you have Sandro that is related to Speaker Martin?
Alam mo, Attorney Karen, you'll be surprised. Yesterday, I delivered my privilege speech. And kagaya ng ginagawa ni Majority Floor Leader, talagang open lahat ngayon sa Congress. At I do believe yung ginagawa ng father niya is talagang seryoso naman. Kaya capable naman si Majority Floor Leader Sandro Marcos na in fact, may pronouncement na nga siya. Di ba? Sabi niya, why would Congress investigates itself? Di ba?
So, mukhang ang stand niya is iba na lang mag-investigate.
Yon ang stand niya. Pero of course, meron din namang mga members ng Congress na gusto rin talaga imbestigahan. And you cannot take it away from them. Or from us, from me also, di ba? Because it's the oversight function ng Congress talaga. Kahit hindi lang naman sa Congress sa Pilipinas, sa United States, ganyan din naman.
Well, Congressman Mark, as a neophyte na kayo, at least hindi kayo nadawit sa mga issues in the past dito sa mga anomalies sa infrastructure projects, what specific measures are you pushing for in Congress to stop this cycle of overpriced, underperforming, or worse, ghost projects in your district?
Number one, I will push for the Freedom of Information Bill. Kasi kailangan natin ng transparency. And of course, yung participation din ng mga civil society organizations, sama-sama na lahat yan. If Mayor Bico did that to Pasig City, why not the national, sa buong bansa natin, di ba, level? So I will push for that. And yun yung safeguard natin eh. Makikita natin doon kung magkano ang bidding, everything, nandun lahat eh. And magkano yung mga presyo ng mga bill of materials and everything. So, ma-compare na, it will prevent yung mga scrupulous contractors, as they say, na talagang gumawa pa ng kalokohan. Oo.
Yeah. At siguro po kaya nyo gawin na madali na makuha ng information because during former President Duterte's time, nagkaroon naman ng mga department orders implementing this freedom of information among the agencies. Pero parang hindi naman na-utilize. So, siguro po you can make it more user-friendly.
Yun ang naging problema yata during the time of PRRD. Hindi talaga naging batas yung FOI. I think it was just an executive order.
Yes, opo.
So, although batas din naman yun, pero mas maganda yung may specific talagang batas na talagang ipe-penalize mo kung nag-violate ka dun sa FOI.
Sige po, good luck, Congressman Mark, and we'll continue to get updates from you para malaman natin sana kung anong magiging progress nitong advocacy ninyo.
Yes, anytime po. Handa naman po tayong tumulong syempre sa mga kababayan natin. At sana po umasa pa tayo na marami pa pong pagbabago ang mangyayari sa ating bansa. And I fully support the President.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Congressman Mark Santos. The dismissal of General Nicolas Torre up next when At the Forefront returns after a short break. Welcome back at the Forefront. The Philippines was shocked yesterday by the sudden dismissal of PNP Chief Nicolas Torre III. While some argued that the sacking was necessary to uphold proper chain of command, others see it as a premature decision that cut short Torre's reform initiatives at the PNP. In light of both merits and demerits of the issue, was the removal legally justified or politically motivated? Joining us is constitutional law professor and convener of Isang Bayan, Attorney Howard Calleja. Good morning, Attorney Howie.
Good morning, Karen, and good morning sa lahat ng nakikinig sa inyo at nanonood sa inyong lahat. Good morning.
Ano po yung assessment nyo doon sa naging immediately effective na pag-relieve kay PNP Chief Torre kahapon?
Well, you said it quite frankly, no? We were all surprised. I think it's a very popular, very good PNP chief as far as I'm concerned. His achievements, especially that of bringing Duterte out, Quiboloy also out. Sama na natin yung pagpanalo niya sa boxing. No? So,
kahit na hindi natuloy yung kalaban.
Di ba? Sama na. So, ibig ko sabihin, in his short stint and in his, kumbaga, he's full of achievement. That's why nagulat tayo, no, Attorney Karen. We were surprised with all of this. It's not something na akala natin mangyayari. I mean, he still has, I think, 1 more year until 2026 as supposedly as PNP chief. So, yun din ang issue ko dyan is where is he now? Kasi he still cannot, hindi din na matatanggal yan. I mean, he's still a 4-star general. So parang
And
lalabas.
under our law, kailangan isang 4-star general lang.
Yes,
no? So,
no? Only the PNP chief is the 4-star general, Attorney
so kung
Karen.
para mabigay yung 4-star general sa iba, kailangan niya retire?
Kailangan mag-retire or, I mean, by age nga, I think it's still... if tama
early
yung
retirement is the other option.
Well, that's another option, pero will he or tignan na lang natin, no? But pwede naman OIC, yung isa, 3-star OIC, pero kumbaga hindi siya full-fledged, kasi may mga limitations yung acting at saka yung OIC chief, no? So Put it that way. So kung surprised, yes, we're surprised that kanina nga, kung pinakikinggan ko yung flood project, mas marami dapat tanggalin doon sa flood project kaysa dito sa PNP. dapat yun ang nauna.
Oo, yung pag sinabing heads will roll. Meron ako nabasa po na post nga sa Facebook na when all of these anomalous flood control projects came out, this issue, heads will roll dapat. Pero bakit daw biglang ang head na nag-roll ay yung kay Chief PNP Torre?
Kaya nga, Atty. Karen, nagulat tayo kasi ito yung nauna. If there's anything na meron dapat nauna, sa tingin natin, dapat yung flood control. But of course, meron mga issues dyan sa PNP, sa NAPOLCOM, sa DILG. And as I said, there are legal justifications, constitutional rules that should be followed. But whether it was done, kumbaga, how it was done, I think yun yung question eh. Kaya medyo nagiging politically motivated yung issue or politically questionable yung issue because how it was done to him. Marami naman pwedeng gawin or marami namang proseso na pwedeng gawin pero bakit ganito ang nangyari all of a sudden?
Okay. Merong rumors na dahil daw ito sa ginawang movement ng mga personnel ni former PNP Chief Torre within PNP without the approval of NAPOLCOM or without consulting DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla in accordance with the process dapat for assigning and reassigning. Is that legal basis for having him relieved?
Let's clarify that matter. No? Si Secretary John Vic has in position or in all his legal right to have admin control and supervision.
This is based in the Constitution?
Nasa Constitution yan. At based on yung 6975 which created the PNP at saka yung RA 8551 which reorganized the PNP. No? Kasi alalahanin natin, Atty. Karen, na civilian pa rin yung character dapat ang PNP. So he has all the legal right to do that because nga ang reorganization, ang pag-appoint, etc. Although the PNP has supervisory control, has administration control, all of this dapat dumadaan for confirmation and review ng NAPOLCOM and then later on, of course, by appointment of the President.
So may basis naman po?
May basis naman, but sabi ko nga, constitutional and legally, they are right, they have a legal basis to do that. Pero paano ginawa? Yun na lang tanong natin. No?
So for you, how would you have done it? Ano ba yung ibang options dapat for Malacanang? Some describe the relief, yung pag-relieve na immediately effective as unceremonious removal. Pero kayo po, ano ba yung options na meron kung sakaling, as you said, meron naman talagang legal basis because hindi nasunod yung mga provisions ng Constitution? Ano pa yung pwede bang gawin dapat ng Malacanang?
Well, for example, in the DIG level, in the NAPOLCOM level, they could have reviewed the appointments kasi they can review, modify, even reverse appointments, etc. And then between NAPOLCOM and the PNP, I think they should have just threshed it out. And the DILG threshed it out without even involving the President. No? I mean, if I were in that position, I mean, I would, of course, shield the President of all of these, quote-unquote, maybe intramurals, no? If there were, no? I'm not, kumbaga, all of this is just a presumption na merong mga gustong ilagay or merong mga hindi tamang, let's say, brinaso niya yung appointment o pagbalasa ng ibang mga tao. But then again, as I said, with all of his achievements, I think it is unfair na para siyang tinapon na lang ng parang freezer na lang ng like that without, I think with a lot of things happening in the country, a lot of sins of bigger people happening in the country, nandyan pa rin sila. Ito naman na parang pwedeng ayusin among themselves between NAPOLCOM, PNP, DILG. Bakit hindi na lang nila trinesh out before na lang lumabas ng ganito? So that's why I'm saying it's the process of it. Maybe mas maganda. Tingin ko may due process naman, pero tingin ko, sabi ko nga, it's just how you handle the sacking or the relieving of one general in the PNP.
Well, marami pong nagde-describe din kay Torre bilang maangas, walang sinasanto, or matigas daw ulo. So, kung ganun ba, is that something that you see also as a good reason to, relieve someone from their post?
Alam mo, Attorney Karen, minsan mas maganda yung walang sinasanto eh. Kasi kita natin si Presidente nahuli. I mean, si ex-President Duterte nahuli. Si Cuboloy, nahuli rin. I mean, mas maganda yung minsan yung walang takot eh. No? So, but then again, hindi naman din also excuse yan not to follow the chain of command. So it's also not an excuse to, sabi mo nga, maging rogue or maging basta na lang lahat susundin. That's why nga sabi ko, itong mga ito pwede naman i-trash out. Sana nag-usap-usap sila or sana maybe clearer heads got into between the DILG, the NAPOLCOM, and the PNP Chief. So sana naayos na lang mas pino sana.
Okay. Well, naalala ko po yung press con ni Secretary John Vic Remulla where he said we are an institution, a country of institutions.
And
not
of rules.
Of rules, not
yeah,
of
not
men.
Yeah.
Oo, so baka parang merong, for me, my reading of it is parang may allusion, may nag-allude siya na hindi sumusunod sa rules.
Yun nga, parang ang understanding ko is naglagay siya, nag-reshuffle siya without the review and confirmation. Kasi ang proseso, just to be clear, may review, may confirmation ng NAPOLCOM, and then sasubmit niya kay Presidente for his appointment. Of course, the lower ranks, hindi naman kailangan to submit to the President. No? So, but yung top 2, top 3, yan, kailangan yan, idaan yan kay Presidente. Pero sabi ko nga, I think yung review nila, kasi kung meron silang hindi nagustuhan na na-appoint, why, since NAPOLCOM has the power to review, kasi part naman din ng NAPOLCOM si PNP Chief. So, I said that could have been trashed out among them properly, sana.
But legally, is this an legally acceptable process? You may say that it is unceremonious or sana ibang paraan na lang yung ginawa. But yung pagka-immediately effective na pagka-relieve, is there something legally irregular about that? Or acceptable yan?
Acceptable yan.
Because you serve at the pleasure of the President.
Of course, it is a presidential appointment, number one. Tapos, it's a PNP, so it's a not military, but a PNP service, kumbaga a uniform service, put it that way. And alam naman natin ang uniform service, we follow the chain of command. So, I think that is very clear. And we have to make an example, it doesn't mean if you're the top general that you cannot, you can, let's say, bypass chain of command. No? But then again, sabi ko, kailangan pino. Hindi, kumbaga, it did not do him justice, if you ask me.
Based on
his accomplishments. But if you say, is there legal basis? Yes, there is. But parang hindi sana nangyaring ganito.
General Jose Melencio Nartates is now the PNP, OIC, yes. And he used to be the deputy chief of the PNP that was reassigned by Torre to the Western Command, sa Westcom. Ngayon na ginawa siyang OIC, considering parang ang pag-assign daw sa kanya ni Torre sa Westcom was a type of demotion.
Kasi number 2 man na siya.
Yung pag-ascend niya suddenly naman to being the PNP chief, OIC, do you think there's a messaging there as well na yung dinemote mo, yan pa yung gagawin namin?
Yun na nga sinasabi natin, parang masama yung, hindi pa masama, pero parang hindi sana mas pino yung pagkaka-relieve, no? I wouldn't say dismissal, I would say relieve, no? Kasi nga he's still in the service. So, parang it's a black eye na you were given that notice all of a sudden. Then yung sinaffle mo, yun pa yung pinalit. No? That's why it creates the rumor or the talk of any political issue or political infighting between them. But let's not get into that because hindi naman
It's
natin.
hard to speculate.
It's hard to speculate to that. But that puts fuel into fire for that argument. Because yung tinanggal mo, yung pa yung pinalit, parang brinakay ka doon. So, but then again, they have their reasons. And as I said, We would respect their reasons and their legal basis for it. But as I said, sana nga lang, mas Pino, and they could have sana looked at his career, at his service, at hindi, kasi parang ngayon, it puts him on question on limbo. Pero sayang yung kanyang achievements na marami siyang nagawang mas maganda. At it should not have been treated this way.
Bakit hindi po nagsalita ang presidente about this? Ang nagpa-press con is si Secretary John Vic Remulla. Do you think it would help quell yung mga speculations on politics and, as you said, yung adding fuel to the fire kung nagsalita ang presidente about this?
Well, I think if I were in Secretary John Vic's position, I would have done the same because I would have shielded the president. No, I would not have let the president, kasi there's speculation of infighting or issues like that. So, kung papasok pa si presidente dyan, parang it's too magulo na for him. No, I think it was I would laud and kumbaga that of a good soldier for Secretary John Vic to kumbaga hold it in behalf of the president. The buck stops here with me.
Yeah. Well, what is your assessment of General Nartates as the PNP Chief OIC? Palagay niyo po ba qualified naman?
Yeah, qualified naman, and he's one of the last batches or last batch of the PMA in the PNP. So I have no questions of his credibility and his fitness to the office. It's just unfortunate na maganda rin sana na makakaita rin tayo na one from the PNP ranks, PNP Academy, na siya ang maging PNP chief. No, I mean, it is one for the books, and kumbaga this blemish that issue. Nagkaroon tuloy umakyat tuloy yung issue ng PMA against PNP.
May rivalry po ba sila? Kasi nung
di ba?
Naging PNP chief si General Torre, parang maraming from the PNP na natuwa na. For the first time, meron kaming
may karango kami.
Oo, na PNP Academy graduate. Pero sabi nga nila ngayon, it's back in the hands of a PMAer. Yung
pero
nalipat
mauubos na sila kasi eventually PNP
puro
na lahat.
PNP Academy na.
PNPA na lahat.
May rivalry po pa yan, yung PNP and PNP.
Sana nga wala. But of course, because of this issue na naman, nagkakaroon na naman ng speculation ng ganyan. And that's not healthy in any institution and organization. That's why I'm saying sana lang ginawa nilang mas Pino. No? Hindi sana ganito na automatic. Parang without reason naman. And without urgency. Sabi ko nga, mas may urgency. Bakit hindi doon ang pansin? Nagkaroon tuloy ng bagong ugong-ugong because of any of this, kumbaga, sabi mo nga, shocking development yesterday.
Well, kanina po na-mention nyo na among the accomplishments of former PNP Chief General Torre is his arrest of Pastor Kibuloy and also of his arrest or sending former President Duterte to The Hague. Considering ito yung isa sa mga tinatawag niyo po accomplishments niya, may katotohanan ba na yung speculations na iba na hindi naman daw talaga gusto ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na ipadala sa The Hague si former President Duterte?
I don't think that is as deep as that. No, I mean, I don't think there's any issue already with how the ex-president was sent to The Hague. I think we can put that issue to rest. He's already in The Hague. Let the Hague court take care of his case. I think let's do justice to the EJK victims and let's put it to that. No, I mean, let's move on from the Duterte issue on that aspect. I don't think we can speculate on that with regards to this with General Torre now. Let's leave it to say that it was an accomplishment and everybody, I mean, for now, I think we look at it as a issue of, I would think, of reorganization more than anything else.
Well, during the term po, the short term of General Torre sa PNP, marami siyang nagawang reforms, including yung 5-minute rule na kailangan mag-respond within 5 minutes ang police. Tapos meron siya yung 5 C's na yung command and
mas maganda yung yung 5-minute because I was talking to the commander in Makati just a a few weeks ago, a week or two ago. And talagang, that is really not only a response for criminality, but that also is a response and a good, kumbaga, network or I wouldn't say PR, but a good way to show response and ability with the community. So I think that in itself, kumbaga sayang yung mga reforms na yon, and I hope yung mga reforms na yan would be continued by General Nartates.
Yeah. At yung mga balasahan na ginawa niya or pag-relieve naman dun sa mga officers that he found to have committed misconduct, palagay niyo kaya pang matuloy itong mga reforms na to?
Yeah, I think that should be continuous regardless of whoever is the PNP chief. Kasi especially ngayon, kung makita mo, meron yung mga issue sa Bungero. Nandyan din yan. So, kasama din ang PNP dyan. So, all of these issues within the PNP, I think should be purged properly. And I think should be continued, not only for the institution itself, but really for the trust and confidence that the people can give to the PNP as an institution.
You mentioned earlier that General Torre was not dismissed per se. So, hindi siya tinanggal sa public service. Ano po yung status niya ngayon at ano yung options for him? Can he be reposted? Saan siya pwedeng ilagay?
Well, if I were, of course I'm not him, but if I were him, I'd stay put kasi I still have, I think, a year, but yun na nga, parang floating lalabas. But if he will be appointed to another position, then I might as well accept it. And back to, maybe it would be nice to be in civilian position later on, no? But coming to that, kasi ang issue naman nila is, tinanggal namin dahil he would be given a higher or a more critical position. So my question is, kung ganun pala, bakit na lang hindi in-appoint tapos tinanggal? Di ba? Or hindi pangit tingnan. Or yung pag-relieve sa kanya or yung pagtanggal sa kanya is sabay doon sa kanyang pag-appoint to another position. Para kaya namin tinatanggal dahil ganito, hindi ngayon na saan pa pupunta, hindi natin sure, or kumbaga, is it an afterthought? Is it face saving? Is it tawag dito, managing, quelling the speculation? So where are we on that? So and ang tagal how many days? I mean, yesterday. So kung i-appoint, bakit magtatagal pa? Bakit uunahin yung pag-relieve?
Yeah.
What is so urgent that you need to relieve him at this point?
Well, lastly, because we're out of time, anong advice nyo kay General Torre? I-give up niya ba yung 4-star general status niya to give way din naman dun sa decision na palitan na ang PNP chief sa bago?
Well, pwede naman siyang OIC. Si Nartates could be OIC. But if he were really a gentleman, it's not bad to have an early retirement. And then maybe, it's not the end of his career. I think a lot of Filipino know that he's a very popular and much-loved PNP chief. So he has still a bright future ahead of him. And respecting the decision of the president would say a lot for him.
Thank you so much, Attorney Howard Calleja. And it was wonderful to have you back here
Thank
again.
you.
From the questionable handling of flood control projects to the abrupt dismissal of the PNP chief, these have exposed critical gaps in governance, accountability, and institutional oversight. There is a pressing need for transparency, adherence to legal processes, and careful balancing of authority that must always be guided by public interest. Robust institutions, vigilant citizenry, and rule of law are the true safeguards of good governance. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for insights on issues that matter. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.